Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome. My name is Stephanie Fisher with the Michigan Bankers Association Education Department. Welcome. Happy to have you on today for Clicks and Bricks. Very important topic, blending the convenience of technology with the branding power of brick and mortar. Very timely topic. We're delighted to have you on. Our speaker today is Jim Caliendo, President and CEO of PW Campbell. Jim is a recognized professional in the design, build, and financial services industry. As the president and CEO of PW Campbell, his responsibilities encompass overseeing day-to-day operations for its 4 subsidiary companies. Throughout his long career, he has reimagined over 1 million square feet of retail space within the financial industry and developed main office space to maximize efficiencies for hundreds of banks. We're so excited to have you on, Jim. Tons of history here. He has been a bank executive for a $1.8 billion savings association. Jim has a knack for blending the 2 industries to get the heart of a concept and then explains it simply and concisely. He is a born storyteller, as you will soon find out. He has vast knowledge of the design build industry combined with humor and engaging manner. Welcome, Jim. We're so excited to have you.
Thank you. I'd like to thank you, Stephanie, and the Michigan Bankers. It's always great to work with your group, and I'd have to tell the attendees you're very fortunate to have such a support organization in Michigan for you. And I can imagine over these last 4 months that's been very important to you as we go through this pandemic and see if we could get back to normal soon. But as Stephanie mentioned, I'd like to talk about probably 2 terms that you've heard, clicks and bricks, or brick and mortar, the branch element in technology. They've always seemed to be on each end of the spectrum. We're going to try to pull it more together for you. There is no question that the theory out there amongst some people is that branches are dead. My children, my grandchildren don't go to the branch, don't go to the lobby. They don't need it. They use their phone. They use online. Look what happened in COVID. That's going to move more people to digital, mobile banking. They've been trying that for about 7 years now, that same situational analysis, that branches are dead or are going to be dead. The branch is who you are. The branch is your brand. When your customers think of you, most likely they're not thinking of your home office. Hopefully they're thinking of your logo because you have such a strong brand, but they're thinking of the branch that they visit. They're thinking of those people. So no matter what is happening in the technology business and the increase in technology across industries, this is still a people business. We always tell our clients, we could find you the best site. We could build you the greatest facility, great design, great efficiencies in a great market, but it doesn't work unless you have good people. So that's something I want to try to get across today as we talk about clicks and brick. I think prime examples of this are, I know we're in the Pittsburgh market. Bank America has opened 40 new de novo offices in this market. And that's an entry into the market over the last 4 years. I think we all see on national advertising what Capital One is trying to do with their cafes. The marketing budget is huge, as you might imagine, but those are physical facilities. So there is still an importance for them. And I'd like to just go through some things about what might be the future. Now, I'm talking, giving you some statistics, really not considering the COVID situations of just having drive-ups open or making appointments in the lobby. Before COVID, this existed, and it's being furthered through COVID. So some of my statistics are even pre-COVID, so COVID's not affecting that. And I think we get this question a lot of, what is COVID going to do to the branch design? Our answer to that is, it's too early to tell. We don't have customers beating down our doors saying, you have to give us more social distancing. You have to do something with permanent teller guards. It's sort of, let's wait and see what happens. We kind of think that one of the changes that could be made is the fact that COVID could become a building code, like an ADA code, and it could be mandated by the government to do things to protect the employee and the customer. So enough being said, let's get into the three areas that we really want to hone in on in the next 25 minutes. And that's the adoption of technology, the impacts of Gen Y and Z, Gen Y being the very popular millennials, and how to use your branch for a strong branding position. These are the three main topics that we want to go over. I would say that, please, our information is provided. If you have any questions, don't ever hesitate to email or call us and ask us. Okay, technology. You know, this started in banking. Maybe some of you don't remember it. I surely do. You can tell by my hair, I probably do. But technology in banking really started with the electronic direct depositing of Social Security checks. And it has progressed into mobile banking, digital banking, but there's a lot of things that came on, ATMs, debit cards, bill paying systems, and all that the technology has gone into the banking industry and taking over some of the transactional type activity. Look at this slide. The statistics here show that amongst major industries, that the banking industry has a higher percentage usage of technology than entertainment, groceries, utilities. And it's not that it's a new thing, it's been there for years. So people use technology in branching in online and mobile more than they do when they buy groceries or go online and not go to the retail store and buy things. So there is a true depth of technology in the banking business used by our customers. This is an interesting slide. Now, the type of channels you will see on the bottom that customers use: branch, online, mobile, call centers, and mail. And you will see the types of usages on the left are not withdrawals, are not deposits, are not inquiries, are more of the complicated, time-consuming transactions: opening an account, applying for a loan, seeking advice, solving problems, and on. But out of those 6 major transactions, going to the branch, 5 of them, almost 5 of them, is still the main channel that is being used. The one that it isn't is transfer of funds. That is something that's done more with technology than in person. But these transactions across the consumer base, the branch is still the main channel for usage. Just some ideas, and I want to clear this up. This sometimes gets a little confusing. When I'm talking about digital, I'm not talking about online usage mobile. I'm talking about digital used in branches, such as digital signage. We see a lot of this as far as in branch, using your branch as a marketing tool to give a message, to change a message efficiently. And there's no question that the recall rate is much higher than a paper poster or whatever, a window sign. I'm sure many of you have this type of device in your branch, but I can tell you that if we renovate or open a new branch, 90% of those facilities have some kind of digital signage. It's a great marketing tool. It's very efficient. It's changeable, easy to design, customize. So this is one of the main usage of technology in branches. iPad integration. We're doing a lot of this at new accounts desks. We're doing a lot of iPad integration to hand to the customer on the platform to get information. They say that if you open an account and go online with an iPad and show that customer how to use your online system, your mobile system, how to use an ATM, debit cards or whatever, if you provide that product service knowledge at the time of opening an account or information of applying for a loan, there's a 60% more of a chance of retaining that information and usage over just giving someone instructions or a brochure to take with them to read. So we're seeing a lot of iPad integration. Interactive kiosks. Being a former banker and being head of the retail marketing area, this is something that I find is a great tool. These are customer activated, kind of a neat thing for a customer to do when they come into the branch. Information about products, services, rates, locations can all be stored on these devices. The customer activates the device for the information that they would like. It pops on the screen, and you can see at the right, there's a printer. It could be printed, and the bank doesn't have to have brochures to deal with. The information is upgraded instantaneously. So there's a lot of flexibility, customer usage of it, sets you apart. No brochures. I think most marketing people would really enjoy such a device in the branch, doing away with brochures. Conference room technology takes on a lot of different measures, like we're doing today. We're in the P.W. Campbell conference room. But as it relates to your branches, I'm sure many of your organizations have loan originators that travel from branch to branch, whether it be mortgages, commercial loans, or wealth management people that aren't situated in every branch, but they have a territory to cover. This allows the originator, the wealth manager, to stay in one place, provide some sort of personal connection with a customer at a branch, see them, take the application, and that one-on-one attachment is much greater than if it's done at a call center on the phone, and it saves that originator the time of travel. I would say today, this is probably the fastest growing piece of technology that we're putting in branch conference rooms for the usage that I mentioned. Also, I would imagine we're very used to centralized messaging to our branches because of COVID, using Zoom meetings or what have you. Great device for training in the branches, maybe president messages, doing more communication with the branches out in the field than is usually done. So this conference room technology is really on a growth pattern. We're seeing a lot of people make the investment in the branches. DriveUps became very important over the last 4 months. I know in our area, we saw lines of people around DriveUps, as I'm sure you had at your organizations. I'll go back to something I said earlier. I drove past one near a shopping center I was going through, and I'm looking, and then I drive past again a half hour later, and the car is just getting to the window that I saw 30 minutes ago. And I'm thinking to myself, that must be important. That facility must be important. That customer behavior is to go to the branch. And they're waiting that long over the use of technology. Today, there's a lot of technology that you could integrate into your DriveUp windows. You know, as bankers, our DriveUp windows, they need some attention, but not only from a maintenance standpoint, but a standpoint of marketing during wait time, during transaction time. These screens at branches, they could substitute for any type of deal drawer. Screens go back into the branch. I'm sure some of you are using this type of device, but it's becoming more and more popular. Also, these screens in the DriveUp can be queued up to your digital marketing inside, again, for that consistent message, to augment advertising messages, and to reinforce your brand. Just wanted to show you an example of what we're seeing more and more of, not the typical branch, but I like to say this is where we're going. This is a 1,600 square foot branch. We like to say if we can't do your branch in under 2,000 square feet, we're not doing a good job for you. Your program should fit in that amount of square footage. As a comparison of 4,000, you probably have a lot of wasted space in your existing branches. You don't see walk-in vaults. You don't see a lot of safety deposit boxes. This is the perception that is giving it of more high tech. There are people in here. You'll see as you walk through on both sides, you can't tell because the legend sort of cuts it out, are 2 big customer activated screens, a lot of glass. One of the things people like today is glass, but the biggest objection to glass is the privacy. That's taken care of technologically also by the flipping a switch. That glass is frosted and you have immediate privacy. That's something that's coming on the market more and more today, and using it more and more as an objection to that privacy thing, using glass. Way in the back, that's where we would have the tellers, and it's a 1-pod institution, 2 teller usages. So we know our transaction volume has decreased 50% over the last 7 years. 1,600 square feet using technology inside the branch with people, and the look, the perception driven more towards the future is a good way to attract the younger market. And it does not turn off our older customers, because the mixture of having people, which is what they want more of, is still in existence. I would also tell you in your branches, there are probably a fair amount of excess cost in HVAC systems, lighting, high ceilings. Those are something you should really look at in order to decrease your ongoing monthly operating costs. There's a fair amount of functional obsolescence in most branches today. And I know I was involved in the 40 branch network. We just didn't attend the buildings as well as we should. We just didn't do that. We didn't spend the money. We allowed people to put personal items all over teller lines. We allowed every community association in our area to put posters up already. There's a lot of clutter, unnecessary, non-bank marketing in our branches that we need to resolve. Analyzing your branch network, finding out where you are in the market. Are you making money at the branch? Looking at the plant, the site, to see where operating costs are is one of the single most important things we can do today. Analyzing. Not every branch, not every market should be made an investment put into it. It just shouldn't, because maybe the market isn't growing. Maybe it's declining. Maybe your branch isn't making money. I like to say that if you're not going to make any more money out of putting an investment into the facility, why do it? Or cut down on the amount of the investment and clean it up. So there's many options there, but it starts with analyzing the bricks. Here's something that, I really don't have to introduce to you, but these different generations, and we're going to hone in on the Millennials and Gen Z for a couple slides. Somebody told me there's a new gen, it's called Gen Alpha, that's coming up. But these are going to be our customers. These are going to be our workforce. Baby boomers today at the age range of 55, 56 to 70, 80. That's the older class today. And they have different behaviors, but they still accept technology. We always hear, design our facility for the millennials, the Gen Z people, so we can attract them. We need younger customers because our older customers are dying off. Pretty interesting, complex dilemma from a design standpoint. I mean, you could probably put a line down the middle of the branch and say, okay, we're going to design this one for older people and design this one for younger people, but that just isn't going to work. So how do we mix that? I think technology is a key into that. More marketing, more branding brings those younger people in, and they will come. These younger generations are that's the next slide, are driven more towards community. They like doing business. They like working close, local, in the community. As much as they use technology, they still like the personal attention, face-to-face interactions. And you can see at the bottom of the screen, 80% of these groups are going to be our workforce and are going to be your customers. How are we going to service them? What are they going to want? What are they going to need? We know by the people that we're associated with today in these younger generations, from an employment standpoint, they're very different than the older people. They want different things. It's the same way inside your branches. I point this out because of those younger generations, those two in particular, 50% of them would still rather bank in person. Other 50% are using technology. So there is an element of people, which is the brick, the people inside the bricks, and there's an element of technology that could combine to attract this younger generation. One of the things that is a definite, we talked a little bit about outdatedness, is establishing that perception. What is it when you walk into your facility do they see? You know, I think of this, and I went through this recently, is why I think of it. If you told your daughter who's getting married to go visit 2 different venues to have her wedding, and she walks in and comes back and says, I want to do my wedding in building B. And you might ask, how much is it going to cost? And she's going to say, I don't know. Well, how's the menu? No, I don't know that either. Well, how many people can they hold? Hey, Dad, I didn't ask that. Well, then why did you pick building B instead of building A? What do you know about it? It looks better. It's more updated. It's cleaner. I want my wedding to be there. And you don't know any of the other aspects of cost or how they can service you. You haven't met anybody. You looked at the plan. And that first impression is the same thing as when you look at and walk into a branch. People walking in and seeing the old, outdated, cluttered facilities versus the one that I showed you, that perception is going to go with them thinking about your organization. Remember, we said that your branch is the perception to customers. Which one do you want to have today? Which one is going to attract the millennials? Which one is going to continue servicing the baby boomers? So you have to think about that from a perception and maintaining your brand, which is this slide. This slide I put in because it talks about different happenings across the years that you're seeing on the bottom. In the banking business, it might have been some recessions or the mortgage crisis, the big mega bank crisis, and now probably COVID. The organizations with a stronger brand recover much faster than if your brand is weak, non-existent. When you're considering reinforcing, renewing, or maybe developing a new brand, you have to consider how it integrates into your facilities. The branch is a huge marketing tool, something we didn't look at before, something that could be done technologically much better today than what it did. Not only from a perception standpoint, but augmenting, advertising, supporting, strengthening your brand. And I believe brands sometimes in the banking business aren't given the importance that we should be given to them. We think of the mega banks having a great brand, but what about our community banks? And I'm not talking about extending that brand further geographically, but what is our brand in the community? A very important aspect of your business model. Strategic positioning with branches, maybe even the whole organization. I would use this example. We're not, as community bankers, which most of us are here today, going to compete with the mega banks technologically. We're not going to be able to compete with an Amazon technologically. We're not going to do that, but I'm using that as an example. So what we have to do is find our niche. How can we position inside our market, our communities, who we are, what we do best? And we're probably, again, with mega banks, not going to compete technologically, maybe not even in pricing, maybe not even the number of products and services. But what we do have in every place we go in and we talk about retail goals. What are your strengths? What are your weaknesses? The first one is our people, our service. We do that better. So how can you establish that positioning inside your market to use it, to penetrate the market more, or to gain more market share? So strategic positioning is also an important part of a usage of a branch. Perception, brand, and service is something that we have to consider as what are the consumer generational behaviors. There's a lot of information out on that today. I think it's something that we have to look at more. So hopefully in the last 30 minutes, I see I'm a little bit of overtime here, but we tried to show you some things on what to do from a design point using technology to attract younger people, to penetrate the market, to position yourself. Also, I hope that we've given you some information on I need to get our people, our management, or what maybe it's you yourself, to really take a look and analyze the markets, the financial standpoint of our branches, the actual physical plan, to see if we need to do something and what. I think, again, the COVID situation is going to make it even more of a necessity to change. Some of those changes could produce operational efficiencies or reduction in cost. But what we talked about this afternoon, hopefully it'll strengthen your brand, it will strengthen your perception, and all in all, it'll strengthen making more money in that branch and serving your communities better. So our short time together, I enjoyed it. Again, our information is here. You can give us a call if you have any questions. I believe, Stephanie, that you have our slides. Anything that we can do to answer any of your questions, and hopefully our short time together, if you've taken 1 or 2 points away with you that you can use, then we think it's been a good use of 30 minutes. So thank you.
Thanks, Jim. Lots of great information. Any questions you can type into the chat or ask verbally at this time. And while you are doing that, I wanted to let you know that we are recording, and I will share this with you. All right. I guess you did a great job answering all their questions, Jim, but we appreciate your time today and your partnership with MBA.
And I look forward to meeting more of the Michigan banker people and
yes,
getting them to know us a little more. And again, the Michigan bankers just does a great job in helping us. So thank you.
Our pleasure. Our pleasure. And we look forward in 2021 to seeing you all in person.
Yes.
Thank you for your time. Have a great day.